Well, joining us now from New York is Yisroel Dovid Weiss. He's a US Haredi rabbi. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV. Now, first of all, tell us the significance of this protest that has been held within Tel Aviv itself.
Yes, with the help of the Almighty, there are demonstrations happening since the inception of Zionism. The Jewish community that was living there was a God-fearing community, Jewish, not Zionist. In other words, they were doing their duty to serve God, subservient to God. Zionism is transformation to nationalism, and these Jews have been living hundreds of years in peace together with the Arab and Muslim communities without any problem. And they opposed, when Zionism came around 100 years ago, this irreligious rebellion against God, that's nationalism, and not subservience to God. They opposed this tooth and nail, and they were sadly murdered and beaten brutally and arrested and oppressed for well over 60 years, since the State of Israel, but quite well before that, for over 100 years now. And the Zionists continually try to wipe out the masses, the tremendously large Jewish community that does not recognize their existence, and that states that this land should be returned to the rightful ownership of the Palestinian people, and that God forbids us to have a Zionist state, and we're forbidden to have a Jewish state. And this is the view shared universally from Jews around the world who are true to the Torah. We have demonstrations continually opposing the state, and we are and we can see we are brutally being beaten by the Zionists in the occupied land of Palestine when we make the protest. Now, in Jerusalem, last night, there was a very large demonstration. It was because of the constant demonstrations against the State of Israel and their constant ploys to abolish the religious people and the communities. They tried to put in irreligious communities amongst the religious communities. They put in schools from irreligious youth to bring in immorality, and they beat the Jews who are peacefully demonstrating, whether it would be in Beit Shemesh, whether it would be any other part of occupied Palestine. Now, this happened actually in Jerusalem, that there was a tremendously large demonstration, and the Jews were wearing yellow stars to show that Zionism is worse to the Jewish people than Nazism. Nazism killed 6 million Jews. It wiped out our bodies. Zionism is trying to uproot both the bodies of the religious Jews and their souls. They are murdering and oppressing and trying to uproot, as I say, and to really just take God out of the equation by insidious manners. So the Jewish people stood there and demonstrated now years, and there was a Jewish fellow who's demonstrated peacefully. His name is Shmuel Weissfish, and he demonstrated against this immorality that they're bringing in to the Jewish neighborhood. And the Zionist leadership decided that they're going to finally squelch all this opposition by brutally beating and arresting these Jews. So they arrested him last night for 2 years without any evidence at all that he did anything wrong, except peacefully standing up and voicing the voice of Judaism, of God, and the opposition to this immorality and the kidnapping of Judaism.
Right, Rabbi, let me interrupt you there for a bit. We are running out of time. The Russell Tribunal on Palestine has declared Israel an apartheid. Based on what you have outlined, would you agree with that assessment?
It is not only it's apartheid, but in other words, what they're doing is not only the Palestinian people who are our good neighbors and the Muslim people who are protecting the Jews, and we want to show our gratitude for hundreds of years of safe haven and home they've provided for the Jews, and we don't have any religious conflict. But in the Jewish places that they don't allow the Palestinian people to come, they take the religious Jews and they keep it out of the media through intimidation and Jews are afraid to stand up because they make laws against them and they oppress them, they beat them and arrest them without any charges. They brutally beat them. This is sadly an ongoing phenomenon that they're brutally beating these Jews. And we have these demonstrations ongoing throughout the world, hundreds and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of Jews. It never gets shown on the media because of fear of reprisal, of the beating, the brutal beating from the Zionists. And now somehow or other it leaked out. You see, with guns, they beat and they shoot, and there's nobody to stand up and show this because their intimidation and to accuse people of being anti-Semitic. And around the world, this does not get shown. Press TV shows this. We want the world to know we are being oppressed. Yesterday it leaked out somehow that we have these Jews who are standing there and being brutally beaten, the whole Jewish community. Here when Obama came to Washington, President Netanyahu came to President Obama in Washington, we had tens of thousands of Jews. Nobody showed this. We have constantly demonstrations in Jerusalem. Nobody shows this. But what happens? They get brutally beaten, and this is in London. And what happens is not only they get brutally beaten, they get arrested without any charges, and they're trying to wipe out our Judaism. Therefore, the Jewish youth were standing there, thousands of people with stars of David, to show that this is worse than Nazism. Not only are they killing the Jews and what they're doing to the Palestinian people, but they're trying to uproot our souls. And our Jewish belief is that our sole purpose is to serve God. And it says if you make somebody sin, it's worse than if you would have killed them. That's the Jewish belief. And our ancestors, for hundreds and thousands of years, gave their lives, from Abraham who threw himself into the oven not to serve idol worship. Till today, Jews have been giving their lives to uphold the Torah and not to, God forbid, forsake God and His teaching. Zionism is willfully and with conniving and actually uprooting the soul from the Jewish people, that the generations that are following do not serve God, constantly sinning, desecrating the Sabbath, and doing every criminal act against God. Therefore, for us, they are worse than the Nazis, because it's not only 6 million, it's now tens and tens of millions of Jews who are falling prey to Zionism. Our Jewish community is standing up around the world and saying, we will not fold, we will not give up to you. We will stand in opposition and say that the existence of the state of Israel is contrary to God and the Torah. It is forbidden totally. We pray for the speedy, peaceful and total dismantlement of the Zionist state of Israel today, as soon as possible. We pray to God it should be without any more suffering, not to the Palestinian people, not to our people, and this will usher in a new a time of peace and a harmonic coexistence to serve God, as we have been doing for hundreds of years, a time that we can show our gratitude to the Iranian people, to the people of all Muslim and Arab countries for being our hosts and giving us this gracious hospitality in times when through the Inquisition to the Second World War, when Jews and the Crusades, when Jews had to run away to find a safe haven, they were the homes for us. We want the world to see this. There's nothing to do with religion or about a religious conflict. It has to do with this Zionist anti-God, anti-religion, that they're oppressing anybody who wants to serve God according to our teaching, and we oppose it entirely, and they cannot quelch this voice. This
All
is
right,
the voice
we're going to have to leave it there. I'm afraid we have run out of time, Rabbi. Many thanks. That was US Haredi Rabbi Yisroel Dovid Weiss joining us on the line from New York. Many thanks indeed, Rabbi, for your insight here on Press TV.